Hello, BookTube. I wanted to do one more video before the light deserts me completely. The light is going away because it's snowing outside. It looks to me like the snow is lightly sugarcoating everything. I don't think it's going to accumulate at all. I saw one forecast model that said 4 inches of snow, but I don't believe that at all. And it doesn't matter anyway because the temperatures at the back end of the system will evaporate whatever we get in very little time. This is not really a snowstorm, more like showers. But boy, oh boy, is it depressing, my little bean. I think she's feeling a little bit poorly anyway. I think she's feeling a little bit poorly. But in addition to that, she can't even be distracted by a bright sunny day. So she's been having a very miserable day. That's why you don't see her up there. She's right next to me. She's right next to me, just pressed against me, which is where, in all fairness to her, that's where dogs go when they're feeling poorly. They come right next to me, and that makes them feel a little better. So I'm not begrudging it. Sooner or later, before the sun actually goes down, there's no real sunlight out there, but before the sun goes down, we do have to go out again. And that's not going to be pleasant, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. In the meantime, we have a little mail, and that'll carry us through, starting with a great periodical, the Bedford Times Press from Bedford, Iowa. Look at those boids. What are they? Flocks of geese hang out on the ice west of the beach at Lake of Three Fires State Park in anticipation of warmer weather and the disappearance of ice. It's a local picture in full color. Nice spread there for the front of this thing. This is a local newspaper in Bedford, Iowa, that has mostly corn prices, 911 calls, lots and lots of time and space given over to the local urchins, whether at their science fairs or at their various sporting events. But there's one thing in the Bedford Times Press that is not local, and that's me. The Bedford Times Press lets me do a book column every week, and they give me a generous amount of space, as you can see. A generous amount of space. Just goes all the way down the page there. It's 1,000 words. Tremendous fun to have a column in a small Iowa newspaper. Actually, two, because my column runs in the Lennox timetable as well. You can subscribe to the Bedford Times Press. I don't make any illusions that you will have any use for the rest of the paper. Unless you live in Taylor County, you won't. But my book column is not about local Iowa stuff at all. It's about my thoughts on books for that week. This one is about, some of you may have seen that noxious tweet that went viral on Twitter a couple of weeks ago about a guy saying, if you're the person who brings a book to a bar, just know everyone hates you. And he got, the writer of that tweet, of course it was an asinine thing to write, and he got a ton of pushback from all kinds of people, including lots and lots of dedicated readers who do bring books to bars, like want the communal space, but don't necessarily want to talk with the losers who go to bars. I couldn't resist writing about it, so I wrote about it, and that's this week's column in the Bedford Times Press. But then we also have mail. We also have packages. So let's see what we have here. We've got 2 packages and 2 boxes. Nothing really big. I don't think there'll be any mammoths here, but let's see what we have. First one is a finished copy. Oh my, okay, well this went to the wrong person, definitely. This, I don't have a pub sheet for it. This is by Madison Lebray and Nicholas DeFriends, and it's called Democratizing Finance, the Radical Promise of FinTech. And right away, I know this is a David Murphy book. This shouldn't be to me, this should be to David Murphy, so I'll have to put this in a box. Let's see here. Over the past few decades, digital technology has transformed finance. Financial technology, fintech, that's what fintech is, has enabled more people with fewer resources in more places around the world to take advantage of banking, insurance, credit, investment, and other financial services. The authors argue that these changes are only the tip of the iceberg. A much broader revolution is underway than that, if steered correctly, and it will lead to huge beneficial social change. The authors describe the genesis of recent financial innovations and how they have helped consumers in rich and poor countries alike by reducing costs, increasing accessibility, and improving convenience and efficiency. They connect the dots between early innovations in financial services and the wider revolution unfolding today. Okay, I don't have any idea what any of that means. I don't know if cryptocurrency is going to come up in here. But David will know everything there is to know about it, so I'll just send it to him. He's much more of a candidate for the audience than I am. So let's move on. Boy, that snow is coming down outside. It is flying down outside. Looks worse than it is. Okay, this next one's an advanced copy from August when there will be no snow. And once again, we have no pub sheet. This is a novel by Haley Scrivener called Dirt Creek. I guess that's Dirt Creek on the cover. What do we got here? When 12-year-old Esther disappears one afternoon in the crackling heat of small-town Australian spring, Detective Sergeant Sarah Michaels is sent to find out what happened. In Durton, where that's D-U-R, not D-I-R. In Durton, where everyone knows everyone, it seems impossible that a girl could vanish. But the community has secrets lurking beneath the surface. Still reeling from a devastating breakup with her girlfriend and wary of the locals' perceptions of her, Sarah investigates. Got to make sure we know that Sarah is not straight. There'd be no reason in reading the book if she were. Little girl disappearing? Justice for the family? No, I don't think so. As she begins to unravel what happened to Esther and tries to uncover whether someone the girl knew is hiding something crucial, Sarah must also face the fact that anyone might, in the moment of weakness, do something they could never believe of themselves. Well, we'll see, won't we? Esther's tenacious best friend, Ronnie, is determined to find Esther, though she doesn't exactly understand the stakes. Their friend Lewis might have seen something, but to reveal what he knows would mean revealing his own greatest secret. Okay, so Ronnie is I'm guessing, sexually involved with Esther, and I'm guessing that their friend Lewis, that his darkest secret is that he's gay. The read that I have on a lot of contemporary fiction is that the authors live in an alternate world in which literally 90% of the population is gay instead of 8%. But I could be wrong about all of this, except for the main character, where we already know. That has already been made known to us. Okay, so character-rich, propulsive, and set against a blistering rural backdrop. All these mentions of how hot it is. Dirt Creek is gorgeously written with revolving points of view that bring us deeply into the characters' lives. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds really good. So who is this writer when she's at home? Haley Scrivener is a former director of the Wollongong Writers Festival. Oh, there's no such thing. Oh, come now. Wollongong? What kind of a name is that? Originally from a small country town, Haley now lives and writes on Darawal country and has a PhD in creative writing from the University of Wollongong. And this again, I don't believe there's a Darawal county and country. I thought she was from Australia. What's Darawal country? Is that a different country? I've never been to Australia. This is all foreign territory to me. And I don't believe there's a University of Wollongong. I simply don't. Name it more believably if you want to carry the day. On the south coast of Australia. Dirt Creek is her first novel. Oh, wow. Oh, so this is her debut. Fantastic. I wonder if it's been out in Australia for a while. An earlier version of the book was shortlisted for the Penguin Literary Prize and won the Kill Your Darlings Unpublished Manuscript Award. Okay. I wonder if this is already out in Australia, and if so, if it has garnered any kind of critical reaction. Not that it matters. I'll read it myself in the blistering heat of Boston, August, but I won't read it. I won't get to it until then. Okay, so I won't be sending that to David Murphy. I don't know what he would do with a debut work of contemporary fiction. Let's see here. What is this next one? It's a finished copy. This is the first of the boxes. Let's see here. Oh, well, okay. All right. Well, debut fiction, I love it, but it's usually not something that ends up pleasing me. And fintech, I know nothing about at all. But this next one is a subject matter that I know very well. It is exactly a bullseye. This is by Jeff Deutsch, and it is in praise of good bookstores. I hear the sound of hundreds of people going to put this on a pre-order. This comes out in April. Let's see here. From a devoted reader and lifelong bookseller, an eloquent and charming reflection on the singular importance of bookstores. Do we need bookstores in the 21st century? If so, what makes a good one? In this beautifully written book, the author, director of Chicago's Seminary Co-op bookstores and one of the finest bookstores in the world, pays loving tribute to one of our most important and endangered civic institutions. He considers how qualities like space, time, abundance, and community find expression in a good bookstore. Along the way, he also predicts, perhaps audaciously, a future in which the bookstore not only endures, but realizes its highest aspirations. In exploring why good bookstores matter, the author draws on his lifelong experience as a bookseller, but also his upbringing as an Orthodox Jew, the people of the book. This spiritual and cultural heritage instilled in him a reverence for reading, not as a means to living, but as an essential part of a meaningful life. Central among his arguments for the necessity of bookstores is the incalculable value of browsing. Oh, I like that. Since when we are deep in the act of looking at the shelves, we move through space as though we are inside the mind itself, immersed in self-reflection. Can't help but agree with that. I have found browsing books in a bookstore, specifically the Brattle Bookshop, to be immensely healing for me at times when I had open emotional wounds. Just open, where I wasn't even beginning the process of recovery, and that helped a lot. In an age of one-click shopping, this is no ordinary defense of bookstores, but rather an urgent account of why they are essential places of discovery, refuge, and fulfillment that enrich the communities that are lucky enough to have them. Fantastic. Well, the only drawback I could see here would be woke politics, would be Twitter politics entering into this thing, where good bookstores are bookstores that adhere to the author's own personal politics. So is there always the requisite window display? Are all the authors who need shelf-talking display or prominent featuring, are they all the right authors? Are they the authors that I agree with, that I think should be done that too? And I'm not saying this about the author. I don't know anything about the author. It could be that this book is completely free of such things. But in the mind frame of the people who do think that way, there's only one set of right answers to any of those questions. And it's their answers. And anything that differs from their answers is problematic, or yikes, read the room, or whatever. That's the only thing that could ruin this. Otherwise, it sounds like absolutely a dream come true. I wonder, this is a finished copy. So the finished copy is going to have this naked cover and the end papers. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. And there's the about the author section. The author lives in Chicago. The book has no illustrations other than that. Does it have an index? How I would like to know if certain bookstores that I like are mentioned in here. Let's see here. Well, Powell's is mentioned in here. Prairie Lights is not. But you all know the one that I'm going to look for first. Oh, the Brattle Bookshop is not mentioned in here. Well, I guess it's probably retail bookstores, right? But either way, this comes out in April. I don't have a specific date for it, but it doesn't matter at all. I'm going to read it tonight. It's not long. It won't take any time at all. So that's great. We moved from a miss and a okay whatever to a bullseye. So now we'll do the final box. This could also be another bullseye. It could also be another miss. You never know. I never know what's coming. Let's see what this one is. Okay, it's another finished copy. Thin thing. Let's see. Look at that snow come down out there. Good Lord. Okay, this is from the folks at Princeton University Press. Oh, great. Okay, fantastic. This comes out in May. This comes out on May 17th, a late May book. And this is Translating Myself and Others by Jhumpa Lahiri, who's a novelist, a very talented novelist, who's made ripples lately for learning to translate, by learning another language. This book is a collection of candid and disarming personal essays by Pulitzer Prize-winning author Jhumpa Lahiri, who reflects on her emerging identity as a translator as well as a writer in two languages. With subtlety and emotional immediacy, she draws on Ovid's myth of Echo and Narcissus to explore the distinction between writing and translating, and provides a close reading of passages from Aristotle's Poetics to talk more broadly about writing, desire, and freedom. She traces the theme of translation in Antonio Gramsci's prison notebooks and takes up the question of Italo Calvino's popularity as a translated author. She considers the unique challenge of translating her own work from Italian to English and the question why Italian, and the singular pleasures of translating contemporary and ancient writers. Okay, so I'm assuming that this, despite all of that, this was not intended as a book. I'm assuming that all these pieces appeared elsewhere first, right? And then they were just added here. I wonder if this is going to tell me. Now I want to know. Let's go straight to the acknowledgement section to find out. A lot of authors don't like to say it. They don't like to admit. But let's see here. Notes on the essays. Mm. Yes, okay, these are all published elsewhere first. Okay, great. But it looks like they were published in venues that if you are an American reader, a monoglot reader in America, you probably would not have seen them. Uh, so you're going to get a lot of talk about translation in here that you would have missed from an author who's just recently, comparatively recently, taken it up as a real concentration. And I myself absolutely love thinking about, talking about, and also reading about translating. Not just translated works, but what it means to translate. It sounds like this book is going to be entirely that. Great. Fantastic. Okay. So translating myself and others uh, by Jhumpa Lahiri. So that is our mail haul. We have Translating Myself and Others, a collection of essays about translation. We have Democratizing Finance, about the potentials of fintech. We have Dirt Creek, the sweltering debut novel by Haley Scrivener, and In Praise of Good Bookstores. How do you like that? That goes on the top of the pile, quite literally. In Praise of Good Bookstores, I will read tonight. Probably Translating Myself and Others, I will also read tonight. So once again, even though these are May releases, this has largely shaped my TBR. Fine by me. They both sound really, really interesting. The others, though, can wait a bit. And the fintech thing can wait forever. I will admit, put that unread into a package and send it off to the snowy north. So that's it. That is your mail for today. I don't think any more mail is coming. It would have to find its way through the snow to get to me. Now I'm going to try and deal with a recalcitrant baby. But I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.